sure, as always, I'm pulling up my chat here on my phone because I got a couple of questions from you guys today and I shall be answering them. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are. Um, same old spiel. I'm Ekua Ahima, financial dominatrix of many, many years. And this YouTube page is simply dedicated to me providing, my advice, my experience, coaching here to you guys, and how I've been able to do it, how I've been able to achieve my success as a financial dominatrix, and how I've been able to help other people as a coach in this industry for so long. So check out all of my other videos if you have not. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. But I'm going to be answering some questions today from my students who are already a part of the AfroDomme Network and Academy. I have some questions from them that I'm going to be answering here today. And if I have the time, if you have some questions, of course, please drop them in the chat and we'll discuss. We'll discuss. So, let me just see, cause I love her outfit. Yeah, I'm loving that outfit. Let me just pull some stuff up. Maybe I think they're loud in the hallway. I think somebody's moving, but whatever. So I got a couple of questions that I wanted to answer for you guys. And then let me just make sure the comments are on down here for y'all on YouTube so I don't miss. Sometimes I be missing. Okay, there we go. Oh, I did everything but drop it in the chat. Okay. So let me drop this, then go ahead and go to. There we go. All right, so let me go back to the chat room and pull up some of these questions that I have. Okay, so the first question is generally speaking from one of my students. How do you personally manage subs or slaves in different time zones? She's saying, I feel like I'm living in the United States, but I'm on a UK, West Coast, or Canadian time frame to manage. So how do you personally manage subs in different time zones? Honestly, I think this is a really good question because I mean, it is something that presents itself sometimes. It can present itself sometimes as a challenge. A lot of my subs, as she just stated, are from the UK, from the United Kingdom, or mid coast, west coast, and I am primarily on the east coast. So yeah, there are times where there are conflicting schedules and stuff like that with booking sessions and hosting sessions because you and your sub, you and your client are not exactly in the same time zone. So in those kinds of instances, I make it work for myself and I make those subs just quite simply operate off of my time zone. So if we're scheduling a session, hey, good afternoon. So if we're scheduling a session, it's going to be scheduled regardless of whatever time frame that we set. The expectation is that you'll always be working in EST, Eastern Standard Time, in my time zone, not yours. And that can still be kind of difficult, especially when you are traveling, or you still have those kinds of time constraints. But that's just something to consider, and that's something that really your submissive should be the one that's considering, above all else, making sure that they themselves are making those accommodations to be able to fit into your schedule, your time zone, and where you are. Now, if it's something like telephone calls and stuff like that, because I'm on a couple of different PSO sites, I'm on Night Flirt, as I always share with you guys here. And those subs tend to call during the Eastern Standard time frame, or I just make it really clear, really known that I am not in the same time frame as them. Which is why in the beginning, if this is a conversation that we're just having for the first time, I'm asking those kinds of important questions like where are you from, where do you live, or what side of town are you on, what part of the country are you in, what part of the world are you in, just so that you know off the bat if this person is going to be a good fit for you for long term, right? Because you really wouldn't. And it depends on the relationship, it depends on the dynamic, as always, but you really wouldn't want to set yourself up to be establishing relationships with people who can't make those kinds of accommodations to your schedule, right? If you know that working in Eastern Standard Time is what's best for you, or California time is what's best for you, and you have all of these subs or all of these clients in a different time zone, you might want to consider traveling to that area, or if you've never been in that area ever or at all, you might want to consider what kind of services, so to speak, you offer so that you can still engage with those clients. Like prior to me visiting the United Kingdom, because I am an international dominatrix, I am an international um, and worldwide known public figure. So prior to me being in West Africa, for example, I would still produce content and connect with um, creators and models and clients from East and West Africa prior to me going. Now that I've gone, I've learned some of the culture, learned some of the language, and I've experienced the time shift difference myself, right? Being someone who's in West Africa, for example, and trying to call a family member while they were back in the States, right? So I can map out. I know that it's like a 8 or 10 hour time difference. You can schedule that out knowing the difference in time shifts, right? Or difference in time zones. And then the same would ideally go for your submissives as well. But again, you should really just put the onus on your submissive doing the work to figure that out. Like, okay, so if I say that we're gonna schedule a session for 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, whatever time zone you're in, you're going to have to just abide by that. And if it means that it's 3:30 p.m. my time in the afternoon, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning over there where you are, then that's just what it is. Now, have I ever been in a situation where it was the opposite and I was up really, really late while a sub was in a different time zone? Maybe in my early stages of career, but not too much, because at the end of the day, I'm not about to, stay up all night long just to book a session with somebody. Like if you really gave a fuck, you would have just sent me the money and moved on, or you would have just accommodated to the time zone that I'm in versus yourself. That is one of the reasons why, though, because I know I have plenty of people who are into different time zones. That's one of the reasons why on platforms like Nightflirt and on platforms like the Black Mistress hotline that I'm on, that's ran and owned by Madam Caramel, I always leave those telephone lines active or on. And if a call comes through and I'm asleep or I just don't feel like taking a call, I will just decline it at my discretion. But I'll always leave those phone lines on in case there is truly someone from a different time zone, or a different area or international that is trying to get in contact with me over the telephone. Otherwise, they can book a session and wait. They can buy a clip and fuck off. Because otherwise, I really don't care. So I hope that answered your question, my love. Another goddess is in here. How much, and she asks, how much of your true personality do you share with your subs? Do you operate in more of an alter ego, or is your true personality simply amplified? So this is an interesting choice of question. I think this is coming from someone who may or may not. I'm not from 100% familiar looking at her screen name now, but I'm feeling like this is coming from someone who may or may not be extremely new to financial domination. Nothing that I do online, nothing that I do in my social media presence, nothing that I do as the kinky coach and who I am is a different person or different alter ego of the person I am, the person my friends know me to be, the person my family knows me to be. And I wouldn't set yourself up for either already doing so or just thinking that in order to be a financial dominatrix, you have to create this fake persona, right? Like, you're not Hannah Montana. You don't have to be living a double life and be like this super sweet, kind person in your normal everyday life, how everybody else in your life knows you. But then when you're online as a financial dominatrix, this flip switches and you're a completely, totally different person. You have a totally different tone. The way that you act, the way that you walk and talk is completely different. I feel like that is one way to set yourself up for failure and also to burn yourself out. Because at the end of the day, there's no one way to be a dominatrix, right? There's no cookie cutter answer like, oh, if you're a dominatrix, you have to look like this, or you have to talk like this, you have to do these things, or you have to be interested in this, that, or the third. There's no cookie cutter way to do it. Now, when it comes to learning your craft, learning your expertise, yes, there are standards of information that you do need to know. You do need to study BDSM, you do need to study sex work, you do need to study business marketing, right, at a very minimal level so that you actually know what you're doing as the professional you claim to be. But as far as your personality, I feel like if you come into it, or if you get yourself in some type of mind state that in order to be successful that you have to be someone completely not like yourself, I think that's one way to, like I said, quickly burn yourself up and set yourself up for failure. And people will also be able to tell that you're not being genuine. If you're not genuinely a dominant woman or a domineering woman, or the type of woman that can take control, you are more of a passive or submissive type of woman, then this is not for you, because truly it's not in your nature. You can put on a hat, you can put on a costume, you can put on, the persona, the mask, so to speak, only for so long. Because, after a while, it's going to become really clear that this is not something that comes quite natural to you. So, if you're someone who is not very self motivated, you are the type to be like super, super submissive, you believe that for religious reasons or just in your personality that you as a woman, as the divine feminine, it's your job to serve a man, and you have that type of outlook on relationships and life, then it's no shame in that, but you're probably not suited for domination and female domination if that's not something that you naturally align with in your everyday speech, in your everyday manner. It will become very clear, even if you're the best actor in the world, it will become very clear to your followers, to your audience, to your potential clients, even to fellow Doms. It will become very clear eventually that you are just faking, which is why when it comes to my coaching and stuff like that, I never encourage anybody to do something that they're not comfortable with, right? Especially if I can identify, like if I'm in a consultation with a girl and I can tell that this is not a good opportunity for her, like I'll just be straight up like, you know what, I just getting to know you. I think you're a really sweet person. You have a nice personality, but maybe financial domination and femdom is not for you. And it's not to say that everybody has to be like this certain type of way. You don't have to be a bitch. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be into hardcore BDSM, but you know what I'm saying? If you feel like what you're doing here does not come natural to you to some extent, and that you have to be fake or that you're being super, super fake, you probably just don't even need to be doing this. You probably don't even need to be doing this. So, I don't have to answer the question. No, I don't have an alter ego or a different personality that I portray online than I am in real life, or that my friends or my family would know me to be, just because I'm a financial dominatrix. Um, and I think that kind of continued into a second question that someone else had asked, someone different. I think they were just as new as well, because we have some new students coming in for the summer. Again, if you're interested in the classes will only be from this month. The start of this month, we started like June 1st, and we're going to be ending on the 29th. And those will be classes for the summer and for the summer only. And of course, as normal, doors will be closed until the fall. Going into the second question that somebody else had asked, do you have a main persona for marketing but offer custom roles like mommy dom if requested and comfortable, and how likely is this to happen? So again, same as the second question I just addressed. No, I don't have different personalities or different personas or characters that I'm coming up with or making. I am myself. I know what my personal interests are as a professional dom, what kinks, fetishes, interests that I have, and I find and align with clients who enjoy those things specifically. I don't put on a character or pretend to be someone else or create an alter ego or alias in order to do what I do here. That will always come off as extremely fake. Um, and it's just not a good way for your own mental health, for yourself as a dom, because there is a aspect to what we do in anything in this industry. There's an aspect to what we do that does have an effect on our mental health and well-being as well. It's called dom drop. It's very similar to sub drop, that high that subs feel after a session, and then it drops down, their dopamine levels drop down. And that can be just, again, from a scientific kind of perspective, that can be really drastic on the psyche, on the mind. That happens to doms as well. So if you're constantly putting yourself into this alter ego role, like, you're damn near gonna make yourself bipolar. You're damn near gonna give yourself schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder or something like that, trying to fit into all of these roles, um, thinking that that's what subs want. So in my philosophy, I know a lot of people do not teach this way, but there is a reason why all of those other people, I'm not saying or being shady, but there's a reason why I teach my curriculum the way I teach my curriculum, and why so many students say, hey, I was in this class with this person, or I took two different classes with these different people, and the information that I'm getting is from you is totally different from the information that they gave me. And the reason why I teach the curriculum and I created the curriculum that I have is because there are so many people claiming to know how to be a financial dominatrix, and their own philosophy, their own understanding of financial domination is not accurate either, right? And it's usually because they came into the industry and started teaching courses instead of actually learning how to be a dominatrix. That's the royalty. People came into the industry. A lot of the girls, a lot of the clubs and organizations that are now also outside of the AfroDomme Network selling courses are coming from girls who actually have not been in the industry long enough to truly know what financial domination is. So that the advice that they're giving you is like the advice that someone who's only been doing financial domination for 6 months can give you. They don't have that real depth analysis of what it is that they're doing here. So they'll tell you, maybe, for example, in order for you to be a financial dominatrix, you got to wear this kind of outfit, or you have to be mean on Twitter, or you have to say "fuck you, pay me." You have to make a verification video. You have to do spin the wheel games. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it's all cookie cutter stuff that they've Googled and they found, or stuff that they've had minimal success with in their short amount of time in the industry, but they don't have a much deeper psychological look at what this is. And that's why it's so important to do that work up front. And that's why I drive that issue of making sure that you are properly educated, to be in this industry and to be in this space. I just so happen to be that kind of person that does a lot of research about something before I get into something. So before I start, doing something, I will watch YouTube videos, I will watch lectures, I will pay mentors, I will Google stuff, I will find books, I will look at shit in the dictionary, I will look at stuff in the library, I will go to archives. I'm a historian by science and nature. Y'all know history is my degree, so my historian nature, my educator nature, my intuitive nature has always driven me to be that type of person. I want to know all facets of this thing before I get into it. So when I came into the industry, yes, I was not doing classes. Not at all, because who the fuck am I to teach somebody something that I don't know myself? So I took the time to study BDSM, to ask veterans, and I reached out to veterans like I've told you guys in all of the other videos before, and did interviews with them in exchange for free photography. I studied professional film and photography. I studied psychology so that I could understand the psychic or the psychiatric mind of men and the way that men think and the way that women think and the way that BDSM has an effect on people's psychological nature and all of those things. So I understand this from a very deep level, which is why my students, one, are so successful, and two, why we have the higher rate of success that we have, because we look at it from a much deeper level than the surface. And someone who's only been teaching for 6 months, or on not teaching, but someone who's only been a dom for 6 months, someone who's only been doing it for a few years, or someone who actually has not taken those types of necessary steps that may in some other instances to some people seem like unnecessary steps, but to me it was necessary, and that's again why I have been so successful in such a short amount of time. So I'm going all the way through loops and stuff. But the point of the message, again, answering this question and then revisiting the second one, because I feel like these two were kind of similar, so that's why I'm answering them at the same time. No, I do not have a different persona for marketing. I don't market myself as a mommy dom, and then also in other posts, market myself as a sadist. I don't market myself as a financial dominatrix, but then also market myself as a BBW porn star content creator. No. My marketing, my brand is me. I am multifaceted. I have many, many interests, many kinks, many hobbies, and many talents. And because I'm self aware, I can market myself and what I like and what I am aligned with. And then I attract in that marketing people who are aligned with the same things. So no, I don't. You shouldn't be putting on multiple masks or feeling like you have to create different characters or personas in order for you to truly jump online and be successful in this industry. And I feel like that's why a lot of people fail, especially starting out, because maybe financial domination is new to them. Maybe being in their feminine, dominant feminine energy is something that's new to them. And it's not saying that, oh, if you've never explored your dominant feminine energy or divine feminine energy, you can't be a dom, you're not going to be successful. No, but you need to definitely take the necessary time to know yourself, so that one, you know that this is something that's truly aligned with you, and then two, you know who you are and you can attract people who are in alignment with you versus looking externally and trying to mimic what other people are doing or assimilate to other styles of other people's domination because that's how you think they're getting money, right? So it's like when you first get started, it's very easy to look at someone else and say, oh, she does mommy dom stuff. Maybe this is a persona that I should adopt, versus asking yourself, do I even like this myself as a particular niche kink or fetish? No, you're just adopting a mask or picking up something that you saw someone else do without really doing the necessary emotional inventory to see if that's something that aligns with you or comes natural to you. Because if it doesn't come in alignment to you, if it's not natural to you at all, it will be very clear in your marketing, it will be very clear in your sessions, it will be very clear to your subs that you are not comfortable with this, or this is not something that genuinely comes to you. So then eventually you're gonna also stop getting clients as well, because you're fake. It's not genuine. It doesn't feel right. In order for it to feel right, you have to truly be yourself and be true to yourself. Let me see. I had a couple of other questions in here. Is it worth it to post stories on social media? So there's really only, and I've talked about where to post and what kind of social media posts or platforms to use as a financial dominatrix, so I'm not going to go into what platforms you should be using. But the term story implies that you would definitely be on the wrong kind of social media as a financial dominatrix, because it sounds like you're using Instagram, and Instagram is not ever a website or platform that I've ever suggested to do for financial domination. And that takes me back to the other point. All of the girls who are teaching classes that I know for a fact are giving you wrong information are on Instagram and teaching you to be on Instagram. Instagram not only is not safe for work content friendly, it is the quickest platform that you will get banned from for trying to even attempt to do this. And it's just not effective for financial domination at all. Most of the girls that I know for a fact are marketing classes or marketing the fact that they can help people or marketing the fact that they use Instagram to find subs are actually not making the money that they claim that they're making because there is no money to be made on Instagram. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but the fact that you will very quickly get banned from Instagram for doing just the smallest things, it's not profitable. It's not worth the effort of trying to find the one or two subs that you could possibly get off of Instagram. Like I said, I'm not saying that you can't make money, but because of their literal terms and conditions, Instagram has never been a platform where you could get away with that type of shit. So it just doesn't make sense for anyone to use Instagram to do this. And anyone who would tell you otherwise, again, has not been in the industry long enough to know that that's just like an obvious no right there. They either have multiple accounts, they've already had multiple accounts get lost, and that's literally why they have multiple accounts and why they've lost multiple accounts. Because Instagram was never made for adult friendly type of content. Like Twitter, you can get away with adult friendly content. They actually, Elon Musk just tweeted the other day that Twitter is now in its terms and conditions about to literally allow adult content. And that's a first because people were doing it on Twitter anyway. But for them to actually now put it in their terms and conditions that that is something that's going to be acceptable to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? Like Instagram's never going to do that. TikTok's never gonna do that. Facebook's never gonna do that. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention, asking the right questions, reading the terms and conditions of all of these different platforms that you're trying to use. And of course, going back to the videos that I already have on my page or clicking the link in the description box so you have access to the private videos that are here for students who are taking classes with us this summer so that you already know which sites I've already tested, which sites my students have already tested, the tried and true of what's safe and what's not safe as far as social media, as far as dating apps, as far as methods to collect payment and stuff like that. Because I don't know why we're still doing this in 2017. This was something, 2024, this was something that I feel like when I first started off in 2017, like everybody was already deading this shit. But for some reason, it's girls still out here telling y'all to use PayPal for this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like little dumb stuff that if you're in the industry long enough, that is a big no. That's like a common sense no. But again, when you don't know better, you can't do better. Or when the girl that's teaching you classes don't know no fucking better and is lying about her success, she gonna set you up for failure. So yeah, just little stuff like that. Certain apps you should not be using. That's just like industry standard. Anybody who's been in the industry for more than 3 years can tell you that as a standard, right? Not to use PayPal, not to use Instagram, not to make a verification video. These are all of the just common sense, like, yeah, I've been in this industry long enough. I've seen some stuff. I've been around the right people. I'm asking questions kind of stuff. So I'm not bashing you for asking that question. I'm just saying I know for a fact that there's information out there that is literally telling you guys otherwise. And then y'all come to me and be like, oh, boo hoo hoo, I wish I would have found you first. I wish I would have just paid the price because I went to the other shorty because she was cheaper and I wound up wasting my money. I should have just paid you first. Okay? So, just being honest on that one. The next question, does a sub have to meet the starting tribute rate in one transaction? This, I was a little bit interested about this question because it wasn't making too much sense to me. And then the second part of the question is the point for them to meet you where you're at and what you feel like you're worth? So, just to reiterate, this question was a little confusing for me, but Does a sub have to meet the starting tribute rate in one transaction? I'm not too sure. I think you're very, very new, so I'm not going to go in on you too hard. But I'm not too sure if I'm misunderstanding your question or something like that. But yeah, the purpose of having a tribute or a tributes rate set is for someone to come to you, approach you, and say, "Hey, goddess, here is $1,000. I know that your 1 hour real time sessions are $1,000. I would like to book you. Here's that $1,000 up front. Are you available to meet with me? Are you available for a session?" And that would me to me would show, yes, that this person is genuine. They are interested. They are respectful. They know that this is the rate that I follow. This is the rate that I go by, and they're respecting me by making that payment. Does the person need to make that initial tribute in one transaction? Yes. Right? If your initial tribute, because if you're going off of the AfroDomme Network pricing scale that we just released a few months ago internally, and again, if those of you who do not know, you can click the link in the description box and get access to it. But the AfroDomme Network pricing scale is my 7 years worth of review and analysis off of profit margins. What's possible for Black Doms and Black content creators to truly make in this industry based off of market trends from 2017 to 2024 and based on inflation and all of those other things. Very similar to how the federal government will decide the minimum wage standard based on inflation, the cost of living, and stuff like that. I've done the same specifically for what is again possible to be made based on the cost of living, based on inflation, based on market trends, based on how much I've been able to collect, based on how much my students have been able to collect, right? Over 5,000 of us. So it's a considerable amount of data that we've had that we honestly, in that sense, we're kind of underutilizing. So we created a scale, a metric to say, hey, if no matter if you're starting off as a financial dominatrix or you've already been in this industry for longer than I have, these are based on inflation, based on the cost of living, based on all of these other, kind of different little caveats. This is how much you should be charging at minimum for your products and services in order to truly see profit, right? No matter what part of the country you live in, because again, we're international. So we have people all over the United States. We have people all over East and West Africa. We have people all the way in the United Kingdom, Jamaica, and more, right? So based on all of these different students that I've worked with and the money that I know that they're making, that they're reporting to me that they're making, the money that I'm making myself, and then again, industry changes, and inflation and all of those things, this is how much at basic we should be charging. So right now, just to share a small tidbit from you with the scale, at minimum, your hourly rate for a real-time session at very minimum, because this is again, you can set it a lot higher than this. The expectation is that you would set it a lot higher, but the very minimum you should be charging for 1 hour of your time for a real-time session is $350. So yes, the expectation is that that client would be able to give you that $350 up front. This is not EBT, right? We don't take afterpay. They can't book you for a 1 hour session and only give you $50 and then pay off. And then the session is over. They've already left your presence. They've already left your private dungeon, your house, whatever. And now they're paying off the rest of that $350 that they owe you on back pay, on afterpay. No, ma'am. If you don't have that $350 up front, you're not talking to each other. You're not getting seen. If you don't have the initial tribute up front, I'm not responding to your message, right? If I say that my Skype sessions for me, because that's just how my prices are set right now, my Skype sessions for us to talk to each other one-on-one via video chat is $250. If you can't send me the $250 in one payment, we're not gonna fucking get on Skype. It's just plain and simple. Okay, so I don't have $250, I sent you $100. Okay, cool. Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the tribute. That was cute. But baby, we not hopping on Skype. No, because the price is $250. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Walmart. This ain't food stamps. You ain't shopping online with Afterpay and Klarna. No, ma'am. You either got the money or you don't. Now I'll take whatever, if you was trying to book a Skype session with me, but you only got $100, I'm taking the $100 and considering that a tip. Because when you're ready to book that Skype session, the price is still going to be $250, not $250 minus the $100 you sent me last week. No, $250. And this is why it's really, really important. And this is another reason why I set that scale as well for you guys who are students, who are internal with us. Because, yeah, the point of them sending a tribute is to, yes, meet you where you are at, in your own words, and what you feel like you're worth in your own words. So if you feel like, although you set your prices for $350, but he only sent you $50, you feel like it's still worth it to talk to that person, you've wasted your own time. He's not a time waster. Don't go on the timeline screaming and hollering about it. You wasted your own time, because you know for a fact that if you set a certain price, then that's just what it is. If you go into the store, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know I got my hair done. Okay. Bundles. You go into the store, you go into my shop, and these bundles, because I got, how many bundles of hair I got in my head? Let's just say, for example, I have like 4 bundles of the Cambodian curly deep wave in my hair. Like 16, 18, 20. No. I got 14, 16, 18, and 20 inches in my head. Okay? And I tell you, or you go to the beauty supply store, and the beauty supply store people tell you, like, okay, you want 4 bundles of whatever, it's going to be $500. And you say, oh, well, I only got 125. They'll say, oh, okay. And they'll slide them fucking bundles the fuck back, because if something costs 500 and you don't have the 500, when the fuck was it okay for you to just still walk away with that product? No, that's not how that works. If you're going in for a service, right, you're getting your lashes done, the chick tell you, oh, your lash set's gonna be $300. She finished your last set. We have like people who make memes and shit and jokes and shit about this all the time. They finish your lash set. They say, okay, sis, like your lashes look good. Like we said in the beginning, that's $300. You hit them with a, oh, I only got $50. Babes, okay, go ahead and lay back the fuck down, and I will pluck these lashes right the fuck out of your face. You're not walking away with this product or with this service that was rendered, and you did not pay full price. You should not be operating your business that way. And I think people who get into that kind of routine, if that's something that's anyone has done, I think that comes from a sense of desperation and feeling like, oh, well, if I set my prices too high, I won't get that many clients, or I won't get that much traction. No, ma'am. Quite actually, if you set your prices lower, you will get traction from all of the clients that you will never want to work with ever again. You will get the bottom barrel of clients. You will get the worst fucking people, the literal scum at the bottom of the barrel, at the bottom of the bucket kind of clients that you'll never want to work with again, because they will be manipulative, they will be liars, they will be cheap, right? You never want to set your prices lower in order to attract more, because what you're attracting is not more, it is lower quality. And also, if you set your prices lower, you also don't want to be seen as a lower quality dominatrix, especially not when it's very possible for you to be charging $1,000 an hour, $10,000 for a few hours of your time, right? So right now, let's say, for example, like a 6-hour, like overnight, so to speak, kind of session with me is $10,000. And I take a 75% deposit on that $10,000. If that's possible, and I'm charging that much because I know it's possible for me to get it, if I'm charging $10,000 because I know it's possible and feasible, but you're charging $250 for the same level of service, You are not going to attract more clients than I am. You're going to look cheaper than I am and low quality. Because when something is supposed to be expensive, when you're supposed to be this luxury experience, this high value, high product thing, but you're charging beer can prices for it, it doesn't become a deal. It becomes questionable, right? They're not coming to you because, oh, this person's cutting me a deal. They're coming to you because, oh, this bitch don't know her worth. She charging dirt cheap for something that's really supposed to cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, based on the expertise that she claims that she has, based on the credentials that she claims that she has. She clearly don't know what she's doing. Let me take advantage of her. Let me just give her these breadcrumbs that she's looking for, because I'm already knowing that it's really supposed to cost this, but she giving me a deal. You will get run the fuck over with a bunch of clients and stuff that you don't like, and you will also make yourself appear um, inexperienced and naive, and it's just not a good look. So again, set your prices high, set them well, and make sure that you tap in. Make sure that you use the AfroDomme Network, pricing scale, because like I said, it's a comprehensive model of what is truly achievable, even if you're brand new. Right out the gate, setting these types of figures, setting these types of numbers will set you up above other people, thousands of other people, simply because, I mean, first and foremost, you know your fucking worth. You know for a fact that this is how much you can be charging, because while a cheap sub may complain about the fact that my rates are as high as $10,000 for a few hours of my time, the kind of sub that is in alignment with me truly doesn't give a fuck about that, because $10,000 is nothing to him. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta shift your mindset, shift your thinking, and that's again one of the easiest ways to shift yourself into a different tax bracket too. So know your worth, and yeah, absolutely. When you set a starting tribute rate, the sub would need to meet that rate in order for you to talk. Like if you said send me 250 and they only sent $25, you should not waste your time talking to that person. You should move on. If he don't have 250, then he don't have 250. It sounds like he don't want to talk. If he really wanted to talk, he would have had 250. Take the 25, don't say anything, and move the fuck on. But you got to know when to cut that off, and not to allow leeway on that, because if you allow leeway on that, that's one of the quickest ways to get advantage of. The quickest, one of the quickest. Now give me just a second, because I'm feeling like I'm hearing something. I'm gonna just go check on something real quick. where we are. Somebody was moving, so they making a bunch of noise outside. So let me see, because I feel like I seen some other questions in here that I wanted to address, and I'm just not finding them right now. So let me just double check. Um, but yeah, also let me know in the comments if you have questions. Oh, y'all ain't here chatting. I'm just talking and talking and talking. Somebody said she was ready to get to the money and she had to take her verification. Somebody else said they had a verification video up that they had to take down. Um, yeah, verification videos are certainly a scam. They really really are. I mean, I know for y'all who are new, you obviously don't know because you wasn't in the industry, right? But when I first started teaching Dom courses, when I really came up with the AfroDomme Network idea altogether, my very first project was the Delete Your Verification Video Challenge. Like, literally, I created my flagship course, like my first flagship course, specifically marketing that you need to delete your verification videos and like spending like a whole week's worth of time with girls, showing them how to market on social media, showing them how to use the right platforms, what platforms to use, and why a verification video is not only a scam, but why it's not necessary. And the premise behind verification videos was this, and this was heavy, heavy, heavy in 2017. So, like I said, I find it real crazy how some girls are still doing this shit now to this day. But again, I know for a fact that it's because they're getting advice from girls who clearly don't know no fucking better than damn selves. So it's like, and again, they don't know no better because they haven't been in the industry long enough. Because how the fuck in 2024 are we still posting verification videos when the AfroDomme Network been telling your asses since 2019 exactly why not to do that shit? On YouTube, on many vids. I mean, back then I was on so many different platforms, right? Um, but the premise of verification videos is this. As a new Dom, subs want you, and this is the fake version, so don't take this as my advice. I'm just breaking it down for you. As a new Dom, subs want you to verify that you are real, to verify that you are not a spam, you're not spam, you're not a scam yourself by making a verification video that says, "Oh, my name is Goddess Ekua. It's spelled EKUA, and my Twitter is at the Kinky Coach. I am real. This is my verification video." Not only is that one a way for a sub, again when you don't know no better, a way for a sub to get free content out of you. Two, it really does not do anything to actually verify that you are an adult, that you are not AI, right? In this advanced level of and day and age of technology, it doesn't verify that you're actually not a minor. It doesn't verify that you're not AI. It doesn't verify that you are someone who's being sex trafficked or something and forced to say certain things on camera. It doesn't prove anything. But what it absolutely does is give a time waster, a loser, and one of those bottom barrel scrub at the bottom kind of subs 30 seconds worth of your face, your name, your voice to jerk off to over and over and over again. So you're essentially giving away free content. You might not think you're being sexual, you may not say anything or do anything that's inherently sexual to you, but like I said, you're giving them attention and you've given them a 30-second snippet of your name, your voice, your face for them to jerk off to. If you give a loser a mile, he will take that shit. So, like I said, it's not a legitimate way. The only way to legitimately verify yourself is to be on those types of platforms that we already talked about in plenty of other videos. To actually sign the necessary tax information, to actually provide your ID, your social security number to one of those kind of platforms that are well known in the industry and be verified as a real person, not a minor, not a man, not AI, right? Those are the only kind of ways to verify yourself. And that is the only form of verification that you ever need. I don't need to make a 30-second verification video every fucking week reminding you of my fucking name and Twitter handle when I've literally given Night Flirt my fucking social security number. It don't get no realer than that. I don't need to give you free content or a post on Twitter every 30 days to tell you that I'm not a robot or convince you that I'm not a spam account because you see me posting on all the time and I pay taxes to the fucking government for the money that I make on I Want Clips. They have my social. It don't get realer than that. They got my ID, they got my passport. That's just what it is. That's how you verify. I don't need no other verification. I'm not giving you my ID, random stranger. I'm not making free content for you. And if you don't believe it, then fuck off. Go find someone the fuck else. You know what I'm saying? Like, go find another bitch. It's plenty of other bitches that don't know what the fuck they doing, and it will absolutely make you a verification video for you to jerk off to. But me, no sirski. No sirski. You wouldn't dare play with me like that. So yeah. You wouldn't dare play with me like that. If you got a verification video, babes, delete that shit. That was the worst. If somebody gave you advice to make a verification video, punch that bitch on her face, because that's the worst advice she could have ever gave you. I promise. And I mean that shit disrespectfully. If somebody told you to make a fucking verification video, do not listen to nothing else that bitch says, because she does not know what the fuck she's talking about. She's setting your ass up for failure. I promise. I promise. I don't care if what something else she told you, you made $100 that night. That bitch told you to make a verification video. She parted her fucking lips to tell you to make a verification video. You need to go punch that bitch in her shit right now. Because she set you up for failure and she don't know what the fuck she's talking about. I promise. Disrespectfully. Okay? So don't do that shit. Like, I don't do that. Don't do that. It's not necessary. All right. I was supposed to be looking for questions, right? I did not find the rest of them. Let me just scroll back through. Let me just scroll back through. It's a lot to scroll through, though. Sorry. No, because we kind of addressed this one already in the chat a bit. We kind of discussed this one already internally, so I'm going to skip over that one. Yeah. It's talking about race play, new black world order, right? Like where to really draw that line as a professional. Yeah, I'm gonna skip over that one. This clip, you know, my nerves. There we go. Take me into your fucking arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Fuck. Where are all these questions now? I gotta where's Waldo find these bitches? Okay. Yes. I received this question via Twitter and I was going to ignore it because just the thought of it is disgusting to me. But I saw that he asked on Loyal Fans 2. I have not received a tribute. Should I say no? Should I respond with the Cash App knowing I'm not going to do it? Or should I ignore? And it was a question that goes... They got me thinking somebody busting their ass in this hallway, y'all. Trying to move this furniture. Okay, the question as follows. Oh, hey, look at me looking all cute in the reflection. Can you... No, I'm not answering that. Can you please, can you crush a giant Madagascar hissing cockroach with your feet wearing shoes if I pay you $350? So again, she wanted to know if she should respond. She already knows that she's not interested in it. She doesn't want to do it, but should she respond and just take his money knowing that she's never going to do it? Or what should she say? Again, and the message is, hi, please can you crush some giant Madagascar hissing cockroaches with your feet if I pay you $350? First off, first off, okay? First and foremost, 350 is not a lot of money. It's not. 350 would be the starting rate that I would suggest that you follow for 1 hour worth of your time. Starting, right? The bare minimum. You could not get me to step on no big ass fucking cockroach for no 350 fucking dollars. You couldn't even get me to be around one of them big nasty fat bitches that be screaming and hollering and flying. Okay, so fuck no. And I want to make this perfectly clear because I know I actually already answered this question for her. Because when she had asked me right then and there, I told her the answer. But I'm going to just go ahead and address it right here for y'all real quick one more time, too. Let me make it perfectly fucking clear. You should not be doing nothing that you're not comfortable with. If you know for a fact that you want to do something, do not do that shit. I don't care what type of money they're offering you. I don't care if they sent you a tribute. You can send that motherfucker back. You can block that motherfucker and keep his money and keep it pushing. But under no circumstances should you ever do some shit that you know for a fact, just reading the message, just knowing or finding out what it is that this guy, this client is asking you to do. If your face balls up like something in your spirit is like, yeah, I don't want to do that shit, do not do that shit. Do not. Do not. Do not. Because that's the quickest way to set yourself up for failure. That's the quickest way to, again, create that persona and put yourself in dangerous types of circumstances where you're literally going outside of your comfort zone. It's one thing to explore with certain things and be curious about certain things and want to, try certain things so that you can get out of your comfort zone. But if you know for a fact that everything in your bone, your body, your spirit is saying, hell, fuck no, that's the answer. And it's nothing that needs to be said after that. You don't need to explain to nobody like, well, hey, like, I'm gonna have to say no. I'm just not comfortable. No, the answer is no. God is, can you? No. What if I? No. But I already said no. But please, what if we do it in this way? What if I can make a comment? No. The answer is no. No. Fuck no. And move on. And just move on. It's no need to scam or anything like that or take some guy's money knowing damn well you're not going to do, what he's actually asking you to do in exchange for that money. No. Mm-mm. Just don't do the shit. Let somebody else do that shit. There's plenty of weirdo bitches and weirdo white girls that like playing with roaches and shit, and let one of them do it. Let one of them do it. Not me. No. Don't do that shit. It's not a good look. And then at the end of the day, like, let's say for example you do it, you're gonna feel really shitty knowing that you've corrupted yourself or you've gone against your morals or you've gone against your ethic code, you've gone against something that your body, your mind, your spirit knows is wrong or knows that you don't want to do. You're gonna feel like shit after, doing that shit anyway over like a little ass bit of money. Like, wow, I really corrupted my morals and values for chump change. Like, no, you don't want to put yourself in that type of predicament. I've never done anything like that, but there were times where like subs would ask me for like diaper fetish like not me, but like to watch them do it to themselves. And I would, but I would be like really uncomfortable with it. And I was not making that much money off of it, but I would be uncomfortable watching him do it, and I was just like, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm not comfortable with this. I really don't want to do this. You not even giving me that much money in the first place. Like, I'm not giving you your money back. That's crazy. But yeah, no, I'm good off of you. Do not contact me ever again because it just, you're not being genuine. You're not being true to yourself if you're allowing money to be the reason that you're engaging in something. You're allowing money to be the reason that you've done something to yourself or to someone else, or you've partaked in some type of activity that's not being genuine to yourself. You just, it's just not a good feeling to have. Let me just keep scrolling back through. Another question I got, and I feel like I've already addressed this before. Should Twitter be personal or business? I'm feeling like this question is more so about the kind of account that you have, if you're using a personal account or a business account. Because, I mean, naturally, this would be a business that you're running, right? So I'm assuming that the question is more so just what kind of account to set up. Do you need like a business account? So whereas though sometimes like on Instagram, if you have a business account, or TikTok, if you have a business account, and I'm not saying that you should ever use either one of these for financial domination. I'm just speaking generally. So, for example, on TikTok, if you have a business account, they will give you specific type of analytics that are supposed to be helping you generate more sales or generate more views and stuff like that. So, like for example, I have a TikTok business account for my hair page, for my hair business. And with my hair business on my business account for TikTok, I have certain analytics that someone on a personal account just, for themselves would not have. Now, one of the caveats is on my hair page that I have on TikTok, it's a business account, but because it's a business account, I can't use all of the viral sounds and audios and stuff like that that normal people can use on a personal account because I have a business page, right? So then on my burner account, where it's just a personal account and I'm just watching videos or making random posts about small stuff that I'm doing, because it's a personal account, I don't have all of those in-depth analytics that a business account would have. And then two, I don't have or I now have access to because now I just got thrown off. I now have access to all of the viral sounds and stuff like that that someone with a business account wouldn't have had. So yeah, going back to personal versus business. You should have a personal account on Twitter because the personal versus business on Twitter really does not make a difference. It's not like you can post reels and stories and all this other shit. It's just going to show you analytics or give you the ability to buy ads on Twitter for you to promote yourself. And buying ads on Twitter is definitely not something I feel like is necessary. So it really doesn't make a difference to me as far as having a personal account or a business account to use Twitter. Mm-mm. The only time you should have a personal account versus business account is like Cash App or some shit like that. You should have a business Cash App. You shouldn't have a personal one. this wasn't necessarily a question, but more so, no, it kind of was a question. It was one that was addressed a while ago, but I'm just reiterating it for those who need to hear it now. Can I do financial domination um, if I'm not interested in BDSM at all? Right? I'm using financial domination as the first step into adult work or sex work, but my kink content and services will not be BDSM. It will only be financial domination. One, that it in itself is not true or not possible because financial domination is a sector of BDSM. So you can't say that you are a financial dominatrix and you don't engage in BDSM because financial domination is a part of BDSM. It's the dom sub exchange of monetary gifts or the dom sub energy exchange, right? Which in most dynamics for dom and sub is exchanged through power. In financial domination, that power exchange is through money, through cash, through gifts. So you can't be a financial dominatrix or a Findom who doesn't do BDSM. That's literally not how it works. So it's important to know that one, you're engaging in a scope of BDSM, which will require, whether you're into other types of BDSM or not, it will require you to learn BDSM altogether, regardless of having other interests and other kinks or other niches of BDSM at all. It will still absolutely require you to learn BDSM in its full brevity so that you as a professional know how to keep people safe, and create spaces for the ideal kind of relationships and clients that you want. That's like saying I want to be a sugar baby, but I don't want to give up any sugar. You want to be a sugar baby, which implies that you want to be a type of sex worker that has relationships with older men, and those relationships require often sex, but you don't want to have sex. Then you don't want to be a sugar baby. You want to be a financial dominatrix, but you don't want to learn BDSM or take part in BDSM. Then you don't want to be a financial dominatrix. At that point, you just a bitch who wants some money and you want the money to fall into your lap. And while that is a part of financial domination, right, getting paid and having pretty privilege, you absolutely are still engaging in BDSM. So for you to say I'm anti BDSM, but I'm a dominatrix, the two do not work. There's no such thing as a vanilla dominatrix, right? You're a dominatrix, but you don't engage in anything related to BDSM. Then you're not a dominatrix. There's no such thing as a vanilla dominatrix. The term vanilla is what our industry uses to describe someone who's not in BDSM at all. You can't be a vanilla dominatrix. That's an oxymoron. And you look like a moron who takes oxy. Like, it's not possible. It's not. It's not. It's just not. Because again, you will always come off, even if you are successful and you make money, you will always come off to the people who are really at the top. And I'm not just talking about veteran doms, I'm talking about your ideal clientele. You will always look like, to the people at the top, to the creme of the crop, you will always look like someone who does not know what the fuck she's talking about. You can't be a vanilla dominatrix. You can't be a Findom and not understand what the acronym BDSM stands for. Or that you're literally engaging in a form of BDSM, but you don't do anything BDSM. That's not how that works. So again, that's why it's really, really important to check in with yourself and make sure that if you are here, you're here for the right reasons, and you're not just being money hungry and desperate and letting the illusion of the glitz and glam of this industry take over your mindset or force you to do things that you're not in alignment with. Because if you can literally sit here and say that you are a dominatrix or you want to be a dominatrix, but you don't want to do BDSM, you don't see the value in learning BDSM, you literally do not belong here. And that's the most honest truth that you're gonna get. Anybody else who would allow you to say like, or anybody else who would say, yeah, you can do Findom without doing domination and not knowing BDSM, that person's literally just taking your money from you. They're not doing you a favor. If anything, they're just gonna continue to take your money and they're setting you up for failure. A real bitch would tell you like, babes, if you feel like you want to be a dominatrix but you don't like BDSM, literally do not fucking do this shit. Like if you feel like you align with the term vanilla dominatrix, do not do this shit. Don't contact me for no fucking consultation. Don't book no fucking class with me. Don't do none of that shit. If you feel like you align with the word vanilla dominatrix, or you align with someone who wants to be a dominatrix but doesn't want to learn BDSM, doesn't want to do BDSM in any way, shape, or form, do not fucking hit me up for nothing. You will literally be wasting your fucking money. And you probably need to just do something else. You need to like learn how to do hair or sell candles and make t-shirts or something, because this is not for you. It's just not. If you want to be a sugar baby but you don't want to talk to people and build relationships, don't do that shit. Don't. You want to be a content creator but you don't know how to work a fucking camera. Like, be fucking for real. Be fucking for real. Trying to balance school, work, and financial domination is probably the hardest thing to do. Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. I started financial domination when I was in college, and I was in school full time for 5 years, and was also working at that time when I first started financial domination. I was actually working 2 jobs, and then I had got fired from one, but I didn't give a fuck about that. Like that was like I got fired from work study. Like you really didn't get fired. They just ran out of money to give me for work study. So I definitely feel that it when it comes down to balancing your schedule, balancing your life with being online and making content, that's why having a content calendar is so important, because it helps you stay organized. You guys already know I have plenty of tutorials on how to create a content calendar on ManyVids. If you click the link in the description box, you'll get access to all of the current information that we have internally about how to make a content calendar, how to plan your content, ways to batch content. Unlike other coaches, I don't give scripts. I don't create scripts for people. I have some small scripts, just a small collection for like people who really need it, but I do not market or promote that you should really be ever looking to another dom, another content creator for a script that they've written that's really unoriginal. And again, your originality is what sets you aside from everybody else. You being able to freestyle and have your own style, have your own brand, not look like the next person, is literally what helps you stand out. And I feel like if you get into the habit of using a script or relying on somebody to write you a script, you will just set yourself up for failure. Like that's like having a ghostwriter. Like, you know, all this Kendrick Lamar Drake shit where like Drake putting all this trash shit out and people are not sure if it's Drake actually putting the song out or if it's AI. You don't want to be in that type of predicament with your content. You want your content to be very original to who you are, and you want it to feel original to your style, your voice, right? It'll be very obvious to the subs who've been doing this like much longer than you. It doesn't matter how old you are. There are men in this industry who've been submissive longer than I've been fucking alive, right? They've been they're 80 years old. They've been a sub to all of these different kind of pro doms for 28 years. That's just as much as I've been alive. They're gonna know off the rip if I'm full of shit or not. They're gonna know off the rip if I'm actually here for the money or if I'm genuine and I enjoy what I do, even if I'm getting paid for it or even if I'm charging for it. The people who are actually your ideal clients are gonna know whether you're full of shit. And I feel like having a script is definitely another one of those ways that gives you away. So while I do, like I said, have two of them, even in the script that I wrote, the introduction of that book, so to speak, literally says like, this is the only script I'm ever going to write. This is the only script y'all are ever gonna see me put out, because it's not something that I think that creators should be doing. You know, it's one thing to take inspiration and stuff like that, but once you really get into content creation, it should come natural to you. Because again, this is an energy. You being dominant is an energy that comes natural to you. If financial domination and being like a dominant woman doesn't come natural to you, then yeah, you're gonna need a script for everything you say. If financial domination and you being a dominant woman doesn't come natural to you, then yeah, you're gonna need somebody to hold your hand and tell you exactly what to say, how to say it, what to look like, how to dress. And those things are not helping you. You're literally creating cookie cutter minions of the wrong style of financial domination. Cookie cutter. And just like I say all the time in my other videos, because this happened again to me last night, unprovoked. I'm not tripping because I made money off of it. But like I say all the time, and joking to you guys, that subs literally call and pillow talk about different types of doms that they've interacted with. I literally made $250 last night, literally like this weekend, literally eating a crab boil, not barely talking, just mm-hms and every now and then while I'm smacking on shrimps and crab legs, while this sub was literally talking about every dom he's ever experienced before. One girl was psychotic and had depression, and she was super, super young. They started living together. Then he was trying to and there was another girl that was trying to blackmail him. He said he wasn't into blackmail, and she was like, oh, well, I'm not going to blackmail you. Let's just get married. Telling business, unfucking provoked, okay? And it's not to say that like you can't trust your subs and stuff like that, or subs are always going to be going around telling your business. But these are the cheap motherfuckers. These are the annoying motherfuckers. And honestly, this is the voice of, you know, in his example, he really did not have the experience that he really should have had as a man his age. But that's how subs talk, right? That's how subs literally come on and tell me people's business. Like, I'm minding my business. I'm not asking no questions about, oh, tell me about this dom and tell me about that dom, because I don't give a fuck about what you got going on. But when I'm asking questions, like doing my normal new client questions, like, oh, have you ever, you know, done this before? Is this just something that you're doing right now for fun? Is this like a midlife crisis? What have you experienced before? That's when they start telling people business. So again, you just want to make sure that you're on your shit. You want to make sure that you always make yourself look like the professional. You want to make sure that you take the time to truly do the work that's necessary to build this shit up and build this shit up right, because you will literally create a reputation for yourself whether you know it or not, right? Like, I have subs that have literally called me and said, oh, I found you on YouTube. And I like, even though you're not talking to me, you're not making content for me on YouTube, I like the way that, you know, you're helping other women and you're putting other women on with the game and all this other shit. And they literally become high paying clients for me based off shit I'm talking to you guys on YouTube about. You know what I'm saying? Like, subs will literally do their research to know if you're full of shit or not. And if you're not full of shit, then wouldn't you want to make sure that you're doing your damnedest to be educated, to get those credentials, to be able to answer certain questions or carry yourself in a certain type of way so that you have that respect and branding and allure that you claim that you have? Exactly. If you claim to be a professional, you claim to be serious about what you're doing, then you should be investing in yourself to that same extent. Don't be on a timeline talking about, oh, I'm a high value dom, I'm worth it, but then you charging $50 for shit, or you've never invested in any type of coaching and mentoring. but you supposed to be this top value, high class bitch. Like you make it make sense. If it don't make sense, it's not gonna make sense. You can't you can't bullshit your way through this shit. Really. I found your channel about 2 months ago. No, it's going away. I found your channel about 2 months ago. It's wonderful. I am white, but I respect your work and the way that you treat your submissives. Am I still able to take the Instadom class? Since we don't put tributes in our bio and they send something lower than we want to accept, what would be an example of something that you would say? You wouldn't say anything. If you're not putting a minimum tribute in your bio, which you should not, but you know for a fact that, let's say, for example, somebody's trying to get a Skype session with you and they sent $100, but your price is $250, then you wouldn't say anything because they didn't book a Skype session with you. The Skype session is $250. If anything, you could just say, "Oh, I saw you sent me $100. That's cute. It's not enough to book a session with me, but that's cute. Thanks. I'll go buy some food. I'll go buy a bottle of wine. Thanks." Right? But you don't want to start, and start engaging the sub or start engaging the session, hoping that they're going to send the rest later or anything like that. You could say something small like, "Oh, send more. That's not enough." Or my favorite is like, "Oh, you sent me, some change. You sent me some lunch money today," right? If it's not the 250 that I want or the 350 that is very clear on my Trius account that, I charge 350 for this or 250 for that, right? Something that you definitely could have found. I'll say, "Oh, okay, well, that's so cute. Like, I saw, you sent me some lunch money." Right, that's so cute. That's adorable. It must have really broke the bank for you to send me that, huh? Um, and I don't do too much either because again, if you start saying too much, they will take that as, "Oh, well, I can still send her the bare minimum or below the bare minimum, and she'll still talk to me. She'll still degrade me in some type of way." So you never want to do too much, but you just want to say something like, "Oh, okay, I noticed that you had sent me, some lunch money, something small. That's cute." And then allow them to make that next move and say, "Oh, well, should I send more?" Or, "Oh, I sent more," or, "Oh, well, I was trying to book XYZ." Um, and let them handle that from there and let them do most of the talking. One of the things that I talk about, especially when I'm doing like night flirt training and stuff like that with people, is that you really, as the Dom, do not do most of the talking. When I'm actually in sessions with subs, my subs and my clients are talking more than I am. And that is the best way to handle those kind of things because you learn more about your client when you yourself shut the fuck up. Right? Like you're the Dom, you're the one in control, yada, yada, yada. If you want to be on that ego trip, definitely be on that ego trip. But you're going to make more money, you're going to learn more about your subs, and you're going to be more successful in the long run if you know how to start the conversation, ask the right kind of questions, and then shut the fuck up and let the sub do most of the talking. That's how you keep people on the phone for longer. And that's how, again, you get more information out of them, their strengths, their weaknesses, stuff that you can now, as the Dom, use against them. Not like you're blackmailing them or some shit like that. But again, if I'm doing all of the talking, I don't know that you have a fetish for XYZ. So what I'll do is ask the right kind of questions and then be quiet and let you talk. Just like I did the other day, getting $250 off of this guy in like less than an hour. $250 in less than an hour over the telephone. I didn't even have to go on video chat. I didn't even have to talk to this guy. For the majority of our conversation, like I said, I was doing some and why was that? Oh, for real? While I'm sitting there sucking on shrimps and eating fucking crab legs because he just started yapping. I was asking the right fucking questions and I gave him the space to be a yapper because men, they say women gossip, men gossip. Okay, give a motherfucker the chance to feel safe around you, and he will just yap all day long. So that's the same thing that you want to do, you know. You want to make the man do all of the talking. For the white girl, she was asking. I know a lot of people, always ask like, "Oh, I'm not a black woman. Can I be in the AfroDomme Network?" I mean, naturally, the answer is no, right? Because this is a space for black film creators. Does that mean that I won't work with you? No. You can book me for a consultation for sure. You can take access and get the information or whatever. But this just is a space that was cultivated and curated for black women for a particular reason. So, you know, not everybody likes that answer, but that is the answer. That's not to say that I have not worked with white women or women of different races and stuff like that. I've worked with Latina women. I've worked with, Dominican women, Hispanic women, Native, like, plenty of women. But again, this is a space that was specifically created for black film creators for a reason. So I understand that we popping and we real successful over here, but yeah. Yeah, that's for a reason too. Mm-hmm. I'll lock in real quick on this, brother. Hold up, just to make sure I don't rip the paper. Okay. Doobie doobie pothead. I think when I came into this industry, there were a lot of spaces that were predominantly white, and it's still a lot of spaces that are predominantly white, but there were no spaces or organizations and all of these things that we have now in 2024, because as quiet as it's kept, I've influenced the last 7 years of this industry. Even though some people like to act like I don't exist, or I don't have the impact that I have. um, I've had a tremendous impact on this industry and the women in this industry as well. Even if they've never paid me for my advice, people pay attention to what the fuck I say. Um, like the reason that so many DOMs now have other businesses, the reason that so many DOMs have clothing businesses and makeup businesses, hairlines, clothing brands, that was an initiative that I piloted because I came into the industry and said, hey, as women, we're supposed to be femdoms, but we're relying on just our male clients to pay us for our livelihood. That's still depending on a man. I came into the industry and said, if you're going to truly be a femdom, you should not solely be relying on your literal male subs in order for you to pay your bills and eat and thrive and survive. You should take the money that you're getting from your subs and start businesses with them. Which is why today in 2024, so many DOMs have other businesses. Like I said, hair businesses, clothing brands, lingerie brands, and makeup brands. That is an initiative and an idea that I came into this industry with. So yeah, I'm taking credit for that. Um, and so many other trends and habits and shit like that. Um, yeah, yeah. But the main point is when I came into this industry, there were a lot of predominantly white spaces, but not any predominantly black spaces. And in the day and age of political correctness, because this has nothing to do with this white girl's comment just now about joining the class or not. Like I don't give a fuck if she joins the class or not. But in the age of political correctness and desegregation, which is an idea that white people have created, there should be, it needs to be a necessity to have black spaces that are only black spaces. And again, it's not, it has nothing to do with her in the comments, but it also needs to be okay that these are strictly black spaces. It's okay to say no, this is a space that's been created for black women, and this is what we are in alignment with. Am I denying her? No. But this is a space for black women, strictly. And it is created because there are no spaces prior to 2019. All of the stuff that y'all see now, if you're new to the industry, is great, but it is an initiative that we, AfroDomme Network, started first. Because prior to 2019 and the release of the AfroDomme Network, there was nothing like this. There were no other clubs. There were no other sororities. There were no other organizations full of black doms only. There just weren't. And if they were really private, and they were for elite doms, people who had already been in the industry for 15, 20 plus years, who were already in a certain type of tax bracket. There were no spaces. So, just kind of food for thought, especially in an industry that is and has been since its founding and whatever other year that happened, an industry that literally profits off of black bodies and black women. Nobody watches white people porn. You lying to my face if you saying you out here watching white porn. No, you ain't. Everybody watching black porn. Ebony this, Ebony that. BBC this and come on now. Don't nobody watch that white shit. White people don't even watch white porn. Even the ones that's racist don't even watch white porn. They still watch black porn, and they just be jerking off and with all of the racist thoughts in their mind. That's why they do what they do. This industry has profited off of black women for a considerable amount of time, but also does nothing to support us. And in the creation of this organization, and whatever variation and iteration of success that we continue to have in the future, if I still feel like doing this in the future, or still, coaching, because I'm never going to not be a dominatrix. I'm talking about like if I decide to stop doing coaching someday in the future. This has always been, no matter what you have heard about me or whatever, heard about AfroDomme, this has always been a project of mine and a creation of mine that has come from quite literally my black ass having no one else to talk to, having no other genuine black doms who actually gave a fuck about learning BDSM, who actually wanted to be successful, who actually wanted to just do more than say fuck you, pay me on the internet and get paid, and actually find high value clients and actually live a much better life than survival sex work or living paycheck to paycheck or whatever that looks like, right? This has always been what that has been about. Creating that space, creating that environment, finding those people for myself to have. The fact that I can share it with so many other people, the fact that I've shared that with 5,000 plus people and all of the other people and supporters that I have now on YouTube is a blessing, but not something that this was in its original idea intended to do. This was intended to be a method for me to find people who looked like me, people who talked like me, who had the same cultural beliefs as I did, and connecting and working with those people so that I didn't lose my fucking mind trying to assimilate myself into all of these predominantly white spaces, trying to convince myself that it's okay to be around all of these white women who literally look, treat, and speak to me as if I'm beneath them because I'm a new dom, or they can't provide me help, or they can't provide me insight on how to navigate this industry because they are nothing like me. Their page says financial domination and my page says financial domination, but she will never experience the same things I will. And I need to have those people who will. And thus, this is where we are since then, since 2019, because of it. So it's definitely a blessing and a resource, and a blessing to be a resource for so many other people. But primarily, this was created to be a resource for myself. So yeah, we black AF. Just checking on the chat. And damn, it scrolled all the way down to the bottom, so I had to go all the way back up to the top to find this girl question again. Scrolling. That was a good question, but we're not going to discuss it here on YouTube. It was more so a question about setting up an LLC and how to get your EIN number. And you're definitely going to have to go internal for that. I won't discuss that here on YouTube. How to get an LLC for yourself as a Dom. Let's see. Oh, wait. Now I think I know where it is. Let me try to find it. It was a question about online safety versus in person, and then how to vet guys. Online safety versus in person sessions, and how to vet people from a security kind of standpoint. I think I've done a post about that before, a couple of posts about that before. And that kind of goes into like the apps and stuff like that, the apps that you should be using for financial domination, how to find clients. My best recommendation for people who are new to always is to always start online, because it's easier to start online. It's safer to start online. You don't have to feel that nervousness or anxiousness of putting yourself out there and going to parties or being in public scenes and spaces and stuff like that. So I always recommend that new doms start online, just so that you can get some experience under your belt. You can do some online sessions. You can make content. That's a good way to build up your repertoire, your audience anyway. Because if you go in person, it's not saying that you can't do that, but when you're in person, people are going to ask for those things and vice versa. Right? So when you're online and you're building a social media presence first, when you finally step out and you go to those real time events and stuff like that, people ask you for your business cards. People ask you where they can find you, where they can connect you with. You actually now have an online presence, credibility, and reputation that will now back you up in person. So when somebody says, "Oh, I just met her at this party. Let me go find her on Twitter. Let me go find her on FetLife." Oh, okay. Well, this person I just found on FetLife clearly has thousands of followers and this X amount of expertise and stuff like that. So when I walk into public spaces or I walk into parties myself, now people can already know when they go find me online that I'm about my shit. So the way that they approach me in person at that party is now different, because they found information about me online that backs up what I'm saying. Because what you're saying in front of somebody at a party don't mean shit if you don't have the knowledge, the expertise, the actual insight to back that up. So if you're a new dom and you go to a party, because again, giving y'all information based off I know what's happening in this industry and I know what's happening in other groups and shit like that. There are certain coaches that will start you off not worried about your brand, not teaching you any of those things. They will literally say, "Oh, you want to be a dominatrix? Come to this party. I'm gonna teach you how to flog somebody," and you'll walk around telling everybody that you're a dominatrix. When you do that, it's going to be very obvious to everyone in that party that you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know what you're doing based off the way that you're dressed, the way that you speak, the way that you're approaching people, the way that you're flogging someone. Everything about your presence in that space will show that you are unexperienced. I know girls, and it's no shade, no tea, because again, there's no one way to dress as a dominatrix. But I know girls that show up to parties brand spanking new under the guise of other girls and wind up getting embarrassed because why the fuck did you show up to a sex party? Why the fuck did you show up to a kink play dungeon in some fucking sweatpants and jeans and some Crocs on, but you a professional dominatrix? No, you're not. Right? Like I said, there's not one way to dress. You don't gotta be corset, layered down, this, that, and the third. But no professional dominatrix is showing up to a play party to network wearing fucking sweatpants, jeans, and Crocs. You're not serious. You're not serious about your brand. You're not serious about your image, right? Because if this is the first time you stepping in the door, you need to make sure you on 10. You don't need to look like some random girl off the streets who just found information about a party and showed up. You definitely want to put an outfit together. You know what I'm saying? It don't gotta be witch chains and pleaser heels, but it damn sure gotta look the right fucking way. You don't even look the part, right? Or you show up to the party and oh, this was embarrassing. This was kind of embarrassing when this happened. I was embarrassed for the girl. You show up to the party, you don't know how to talk to subs, you've never even talked to subs before as a dominatrix, and you just saying the most wildest shit out your mouth. Like, you meet a guy, instead of being like, oh, hey, how you doing? You know, playing it cool, asking a few questions, getting to know this person, you straight up walk up to a guy and be like, bitch, get the fuck down on your knees and kiss my foot. You don't even know if this guy's a sub. You've just made an assumption. This could be a male dom that you're talking to. And this male dom will have no problem embarrassing the fuck out of you in this party, because who the fuck are you to just walk up to somebody and start giving them commands? You ain't asked no questions. You ain't tried to network. You know, you're not talking to someone on a humane level. At the end of the day, just because a man is submissive don't mean that he's just gonna automatically be submissive to you. Like, he doesn't know you. You haven't started to approach him in any type of way to open up the conversation for that. Even the most submissive man in the world is not gonna just walk up to you and drop down to his knees, not knowing if you're with the shits, right? Not knowing if you're also a dom, not knowing if you're even comfortable with that kind of stuff. That's the quickest way to embarrass the fuck out of yourself. And like I said, people in this industry talk. Word will get the fuck around. People will know. You will be embarrassed. The reputation that you thought you were having, or the reputation that you thought you were going to build, is not going to happen. Right? And I'm saying this because it didn't happen to me. It happened to somebody else. I went to this party at this club in Baltimore City, in the Charles Village area. These two chicks were here from this quote unquote elite organization. And one of the girls had on some jeans and some Crocs, and she did admittedly look a fucking mess. And online, she didn't dress like that. Like, her online presence, because I had known about her on Twitter, did not match how she was appearing at that party. So it was like kind of weird. Like, you look the part as a dominatrix when you're online because you got the lingerie or like a little bit of fetish gear, but you showed up today like you really wasn't planning to come to a kink party. You dressed like you running grocery errands at Walmart or some shit. Like, you dress vanilla right now. You're not nowhere near the social media presence or the branding that you've portrayed yourself to have online. It definitely should match. But I digress from that. she was doing a session with this sub. They was beating certain subs and having like a slave auction with some fake ass money. We not even gonna get into the fake sub auction with the monopoly money. But they had just left, and I was on the stage doing a scene with the sub that had met me at the club. We had paid for an arrangement to link up at the club, whatever, right? But this other guy, again, was supposed to be with these girls that call themselves elite doms, elite black doms. Um, One of them was improperly dressed and looked a mess, and the other one was dressed fine. So I was just like, yeah, you clearly did not get the memo about the dress code, shorty. But the guy came up to me on the stage, still with her name written on his back in Sharpie because they was writing their names on each other, like on their subs, like with Sharpie and shit. Still with her name on his back, and was like, I know you're doing a scene right now, but I've also been watching you since you got here, and I just really did not enjoy my experience with them, and I'm glad that they left. I'm actually gonna be here for another few hours, and I just wanted to know, like, if and when you had time, could we do a scene together? And I was like, oh my god, sure, give me a hug. Like, I'm so sorry you had a terrible experience with them. That sucks. Yes, we can absolutely do something. Right. And I didn't really pursue it or anything like that, like wanting this guy to like be my sub or some shit like that. Like I said, I don't pass out ownership like fucking flyers. Like, no. I'm very particular about the people I invest my time into for long term stuff. But like I said, it goes to show subs will talk about you the minute you literally walk out the fucking door. And it's embarrassing. If I was that girl, if I was that dumb, I would be a fucking embarrassed that one, I did not dress the part, and then two, after I thought I did my big one, I'm on some big dumb shit. I'm doing my big one. Everybody's in the party talking about how much they fucking hated me. Like, that's embarrassing as fuck. That's embarrassing as fuck. And I never put people on blast because I really could have easily said the girl name. I know her fucking name. I could have said her name. But I'm not about to give her free promotion. She obviously sucks. And two, like, it's not about me being even shady. It's just to say, for you guys as a warning, don't do that. Right? Take the necessary time to learn how to be a Dom, learn what you're doing online. You'll be able to make a fool of yourself and make simple mistakes and delete the fucking shit. You fuck up on a tweet, you can delete it. You make a post that's not the best, you can fucking delete it and just pray nobody seen that shit. But you do some shit at a party and there's people watching, those people will never forget that shit. First impressions are everything, especially at play parties and public events. You will make yourself look like a fucking idiot, and people will remember that shit. It don't matter. You still been in the industry X amount of years, because she could still be in the industry right now. This chick, she could be doing much better, have much better education, like really learned from that experience and did better and is doing better as a dom. But the two subs that she was interacting with are never gonna fucking forget that exchange that they had with her. They're never gonna forget that. Those two subs are never gonna forget the exchange that they had with her. Even if they have another exchange with her in the future and it's better, they're not gonna forget that shit. The people that they've told are not gonna forget it. Right? If you do something to a sub that's psychologically damaging or physically damaging, they're never gonna forget that. They may forgive you, but they're not gonna forget. The people that they've told are not going to forget, right? The other subs that they talk to, the other doms that they made session with or play with, they're not going to forget that. It doesn't just go away. And it's very important for you to, as a professional, know what you're truly stepping into, because a lot of people come in here talking about they want to be professionals and walk around doing amateur ass shit. Not everybody can be a pro dom. Some people can be dominatrixes. You can be a dominatrix. You can be a femdom. But to be a professional means that you have literally taken the necessary time to understand what this is and master your craft and be better, right? Better than someone who's just an amateur. Because there's plenty of doms that you can find on FetLife. If you want to find a dom, you can find one on FetLife. But the idea of being a pro dom means you are in a class above all of the regular people. You know more than just the basics, right? You have a certain level of credentials and expertise to call yourself a professional. And when the two don't match, that's when people start talking about you. And that's embarrassing. That's just embarrassing. That's just embarrassing. Oh shit, let me see. Alright, hold up. I'll be back. Don't go nowhere. I'm back. Did you miss me? I know. Okay. Sometimes I be thinking like I feel like some of y'all be thinking I'm being dramatic when I say certain shit, like subs, like really telling me their business. And I thought about it when this last guy that I talked to this weekend had called, and I was like, damn, I wish I could record this motherfucker for quality and training purposes. Just to show you, like, talking big shit. I mean, he was talking about, like four different women, which is so messy of him because why are you just calling me for the first time? Like, you trying to get to know me because that's how he ended the conversation. Like, yeah, so for all of these reasons, that's why I want you to be my dom. Like, nigga, I don't think I want to fuck with you. Like, you just came on here, called me, okay, interrupted my weekend. I'm watching television, eating crab legs, minding my business. And you just told me about like four different bitches. Like, they whole business. The fact that like one of them was trying to get you to marry them. Like, you spilling all of the tea. You're messy as fuck, sir. Like, you don't even see how messy you're being. Men are the new women. You being messy like a bitch. Like, and I'm just listening like, mm-hmm. Oh wow. And I'm just like, damn, how long we been on the phone? And I'm charging how much for a minute? $350? Okay, that's gonna be money. Just telling his business. Just telling all his business, all his affairs. Okay, and none of his affairs was in order, and I found it really unattractive. I did because sometimes you have experiences with DOMs that aren't ideal, right? It takes a minute, like as a sub, it does take some time for you to find that person that's really in alignment with you, which is why I'm so on it with you guys about being authentic and really seeing if you're truly interested in this stuff because the kind of men that you align with should really be men that in some instances you want to be around, someone you actually want to talk to, and vice versa. Because otherwise, you're gonna have like a miserable relationship. Like, yeah, it's about the money, but like, you gotta talk to this person, right? So it's like it on the sub side, it takes a minute for you to find that person for you. But to go around pillow talking about the experiences that you had when your shit as the sub was raggedy. Because I never said that part. I never said he was innocent. Baby, I never said he was innocent. He was the most raggedy ass 50-plus-year-old man I had ever talked to. Very ego driven. Not ideal of a sub or a client at all. Definitely not someone I saw the need to invest my time into, which is why I just let him talk for so long and continue to pay me. And then when he called me back, I hung up on him because I didn't want to talk. But like, just so ego driven, egotistical, like, oh yeah, she didn't have her shit together. It's like, okay, well, I'm talking to you and you don't really seem like you have your shit together either. Because one, this is definitely not something a man should be doing. Okay, hopping on the phone and telling his business by way of telling someone else's business. Messy, right? A real kiss and teller for sure. We don't like that. But also, just immature, and you would want someone to just be, I don't know about you guys, but I don't align with losers. This idea that like all of your subs are gonna be fucking losers. If you do financial domination, you gotta be like, oh fuck you, pay me. You guys are losers. You're a beta. Like, why would I want to be around a fucking loser? Why would I want to be around a man that does not have emotional maturity, doesn't know when to shut the fuck up, doesn't know how to actually have a conversation with a woman, and just talks about himself the whole fucking time and doesn't ask questions to the woman he claims he's trying to get to know to some extent, right? Like, I don't find that attractive. Men who are like selfish, men who are greedy, men who don't share, men who don't give, men who don't see the value of being generous, who don't see the value of financial domination, who truly don't believe that femdom is the right thing to do. Like they're just going through the motions or they're just chasing, you know. But like, I'm not feeling that. I don't like that. I don't like talking to men like that. Um, and those are the kind of men that, you know, I usually say you just, you know, take the money past the plate and just burn it out, burn his pockets out until his check is gone. But there are others. And when you actually connect with that person on that deeper level, it becomes inherently easier for you to build that relationship and foster that connection as Dom is of. And that's how you get more money, obviously. But you also have a better experience. Both of you, Dom and Sub, have a better quality experience. And as the professional, you should know how to create that and want to foster that versus someone who may not know what the fuck they're doing and just thought that, you know, you could possibly click this video and because you know how they be in my comments, you thought you was gonna click this video, I was gonna give you, you know, some fluff and candy about like how to dress and what to say and what to look like. Yeah. No, it's not that. It actually requires a lot more, you ugly bitch. And you probably shouldn't do this. You probably should find something else to do. You should probably go like make stickers or sell t-shirts or do hair. There are so many other things that you could literally be doing, right? Like you could be a influencer, you could do affiliate marketing, you could be a TikTok dancer, you could start a podcast, you could write a book. You could do all of those things and simultaneously be a dom. But if this is just not like if it's not given, it might not ever give. And I hate to say it that way, but it's just not for some people. Like, come on now, we gotta gatekeep this. Like, let's not act like we can't gatekeep because we do. Thanks for the video as a vanilla. This is really helping me out. So see how I don't know who they are, but see how they just describe themselves as vanilla? That would entail that this person knows nothing about what I'm talking about. Really, BSM, kink, you might have learned some stuff in the last hour and some change, but you, with the term vanilla, are not in this at all. Now imagine someone who's using that term but describing themselves as an adjective as a dominatrix, vanilla dominatrix. That shit sounds fucking dumb. What I say earlier, that sound like an oxymoron, and you look like a moron on oxys. Because what the fuck are you talking about, right? Like, don't just go. Try not to look dumb. That's the if you take anything away from this, it's try not to look dumb, please. Try not to look dumb. Take the necessary time that you need to learn some shit. Ask the right questions, but don't make yourself look like a dumbass. Cause you gonna look like a dumbass. And people not gonna let you live that down. Like that's not especially a bitch like me. I stay with receipts. Please don't please just don't make yourself look dumb. And that's just with so much respect. In the most respectful way. Don't make yourself look dumb. Okay. 50. Yeah, the guy was fucking 50. That's probably why I haven't found anyone worthwhile yet. Are you actually building relationships? Because I recognize the name. Yes, ma'am, I do. Miss Barb. I recognize the name. But are you actually building relationships, though? When is the last time you've actually talked to someone online? When is the last time you've been online, ma'am? Let's talk about it for a second. Don't get quiet on me in the comments. When the last time you really been online? When have you posted a clip? When have you gone active? When have you said something in a group chat? Whoa. Because y'all be talking about me not being in the group chat. I know y'all do. But y'all don't be in the group chat. So I'm not going to be in the group chat. I can only provide the information if you asking the questions. When the last time you've been in the chat? When the last time you said something, you checked in, you've gone to the party, you've taken an idea and done more than just leaving it in your notebook. I haven't been on Twitter. Why are you not on Twitter? Fat Life is cool. Ain't no money on Fat Life. For real? The money on Twitter. And you know this. You gotta get on Twitter. Sometimes we avoid, somebody told me this before, and I was like, damn, he is absolutely right. Somebody told me sometimes we avoid the hard things that we're trying to do by doing something else, right? So this is not to say that you're doing this, but just go for the example for a second. Sometimes we do something else to distract ourselves from doing the thing that we're actually supposed to be doing. So if you know that you're supposed to be making content, you know that you're supposed to be doing something, right? Um, as a student, let's say for example, you're supposed to be making content for I Want Clips. You're supposed to be going active, using your content calendar, getting organized, really dedicating some time to this so that you can take off. But there's, always a million fucking reasons to not actually do something, right? You can always find an excuse. But then let's say, for example, you on Fat Life instead, or you are, instead of making content, you are just scrolling through Twitter but not posting anything, or like talking on Twitter but not posting anything, but you're supposed to be making content. You're doing one thing that has something to do with furthering this project or furthering this idea, but it's not as most important or on the anywhere near the scale of importance right now on this to-do list, on the staying organized, making content, posting content. So it's like procrastinating to a certain extent. Creative procrastinating or productive procrastinating, because I'm still doing something. I'm just not doing that one thing that I'm really knowing that I'm supposed to do in order to further push along this project, to get the content out, to create the clips, to edit the clips, to finish that process, to upload them. I'm doing something else. And it's really easy to get caught up in that. And when this person told me this phrase, because they had to use a different example with me, but when they mentioned this to me, I was sat there for a second to think about it. I was like, damn, that is actually very true. Because it's easy to get caught up in that, right? Out of like laziness, or like that just being a task that requires more energy from you. So you're gonna do the easier thing first and then circle around to that other part of it later. But the other part of it later is where all the magic is. Oh, look at my arm. I got auntie arm, right? But I don't have the little cleavage. It just jiggle a little bit. But the part that you're avoiding is where the magic is, right? Like the whether it's clips or something else, because that could be interchangeable wherever you are on your journey. But like the part that you're avoiding is where all of the magic is. That's where the money will more than likely come from. That's where the clients and the success will more than likely come from. Which is why you've been told to do it, or you've been guided to do it in some type of way. So if you allow yourself, just kind of speaking, if you allow yourself to do that hard thing and just still find a way to make time to get that shit done, you'll probably make more money than you're currently making right now if you just go do that thing. Whatever that one thing it is that you've been avoiding is, going on Twitter, posting content, following through on the phone, building relationships, trying to join the class and pay attention and ask questions and catch up to the class and catch up in the videos. Whatever is that thing you've been avoiding, more than likely, because spirit and the ancestors like to play games with you that way. That's usually where the most of your money will come from, and that one thing that you've been avoiding. And if you don't believe me, as always, I dare you to try it. Whatever's that one thing that you've been annoying or ignoring, you got to do it. You got to do it this month. So post the clips, make the content, join the class, the description box, as always. Because you always ask me, when am I doing classes? When am I doing classes? When am I doing classes? Oh, everybody's always blowing up my phone in the middle of the damn night. Y'all don't have no couth for what time zone I'm in. And you texting me all hours of the wee night, Instadom, to get help, to ask me for help, to ask me for coaching, and then you procrastinate. You already know I don't take applications that much or respond to these late night text messages that you're sending me. Don't procrastinate. Take the opportunity. Let's do it now. But you're going to have to step up. It's June 11th. Classes end on the 29th of this month. I'm here. We live. We answering questions. Where you at? Right. Take the information how it resonates with you guys, when it resonates with you guys. It will not apply to everyone, and it won't make sense to everyone in this time because some stuff is just not for you. And if you don't feel like it's for you, thanks for watching. Make sure to watch all of them ads till they finish, though. Okay, just do that for me. Okay, bye.